very much for tuning in to Dad's Net. Today it's very exciting because I'm joined with the wonderful Andy Day.
Thanks for having me out.
We're privileged to have some time with you this morning and just to find out a bit about what you're doing and a bit about you as a dad.
Okay.
And but first I thought we need to start with the serious stuff.
Right.
So,
hang on.
Yeah, get serious. So is it Diplodocus or Diplodocus?
I get asked this a lot. Well, technically, because I think the Diplodocus was discovered in America, so Diplodocus was how the Americans pronounced it. So technically, you could say that's the right version, but I think it's either or, and I say Diplodocus, and our producers and stuff, they agreed.
Yeah.
So I would say Diplodocus, but I mean I think you can say Diplodocus.
Yeah, it doesn't matter is the message.
Yeah,
but
we know what we're talking about.
I'm going to go with you on this. We've got two books at home which my son loves to read, and one of them is all the dinosaurs, but all the names phonetically sounded out.
Brilliant.
And that says Diplodocus. But I forever say no, Diplodocus.
Yeah. I mean, at school it was Diplodocus for me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was it like at school?
Yeah, I've grown up as Diplodocus, and then I was corrected not long ago.
Right.
And that threw me into a whole world of confusion and
you weeped for days.
Until now.
But
no, it's good to. That's good. I feel like now I feel a little bit more content now.
Well, I think you can just feel comfortable saying Diplodocus and thinking, all right, other people say Diplodocus, I say Diplodocus, potato.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So going back, how did you sort of end up with? How did you get to where you are now? I mean, that's a big question because there's a lot of years to cover, I guess. But where did you come from?
Well, I think I did drama when I was younger, so I always enjoyed it. But it was more socially, really, because I went to an all-boys school. I wanted to mix with girls and boys. I enjoyed drama. It was my best friend that sort of got me into it. A fantastic group, actually, when I was young, called Step by Step, and it did really great things for, I suppose, for confidence and sort of drama skills and meeting people. And so that was, I mean, I loved performing from an early age. Me and my brother would always, like, you know, copy the words of Back to the Future and act out scenes from Bruce Lee and, you know, Enter the Dragon and
successfully, or I mean that. Yeah,
I would say
this at home.
Oh no, as in not the martial arts side of it. Although we probably did actually. Yeah. And I think Karate Kid was, because I did actually go karate when I was younger, and it was as a result of watching Bruce Lee and karate. Okay, right. And I recommend anyone to do martial arts as a kid because I think it teaches you discipline. But this is not the question you're asking me. So it started really from there, but then I sort of went to college, went to school, went to college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents, they're lovely and very supportive, but at the time they were like, get a proper job. Yeah. Very much like that. They sort of worried for us.
They still are now. My mum still doesn't know what I actually do.
Yeah, right.
So okay. What do you do?
Well, she wouldn't. Well, I mean, for what you do now, I guess, you know, for the older generation, they sort of wouldn't get it. You know? Yeah. My dad still calls Twitter tweeter. You know, stuff like that. It's
brilliant.
So then I went to college. I studied performing arts and A-levels, French media studies, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. But I didn't want to go to university, so I came out of that and I joined the Millennium Dome. Remember when it was there for the year, which is now the O2 Arena. Yeah. I had a brilliant time there and worked and auditioned to do the street theatre and be a character host and so then my performance sort of escalated from there, and it was good sort of crowd entertaining. Yeah. And then I went from there and went to Italy to work in theatre and education and worked with kids. Initially I just wanted to travel around Italy, but I really got a lot of performing drama sort of plays to teach the Italian kids English. That was the point of the TIE. And came back from there, and then I was like, right, I know what I want to do. Yeah. And I was quite lucky. I wanted to work in children's TV, and like that was it. That was my goal. Yeah. And so for the next sort of few years, I did whatever I could. Worked for Nick Jr. On their sort of Jump Up tour, which was like a theatre tour, and it was, I think, Lazy Town were there at one point. Oh, yeah. met all kinds of characters from Nick Jr. and various places. And then the audition for CBeebies came up, and there was about 2,000 people that went for it. It got whittled down to the last 15.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be very different to the presenters that were on at the time, so it sort of worked well. I was a tall, big-haired, big nostril one.
So that was your first. There were your words.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. So your first kind of role within was presenting just in the studio, introducing different shows and things like that.
I mean, rather
than your actual shows.
Yes. Oh, yes. So I that's sort of my home, if you like. Presentation was what I did, continuity links, and I did that for about 4 years until I got asked to do a pilot for Andy's Wild Adventures. Yeah. Which, a little interesting fact, it was going to be Max's Wild Adventures, a little animated character that went on these adventures, which wouldn't have been nowhere near as good. But when it was pitched, Michael Carrington at the time, who was the commissioner, he said, "I'll commission this if you can make it live action, and I'd like Andy to do it." So I thank my lucky stars for Michael Carrington, because it was such a great opportunity. One, it's like natural history based subject, something I was keen on anyway. Yeah. And kids love animals, and then it went from animals to dinosaurs, and it was like, yes, this is like a childhood dream coming true.
So what, you had a personal interest in dinosaurs?
As much as any other kid. I knew dinosaur names, and I played with dinosaurs as a kid with my bro, and so I had that interest. Everything I loved. Back to the Future was a massive influence on me. Adventure stuff was a massive influence on me. Everything I did and have done, there's no coincidence that there's something with a time machine. There's something adventure based. I love music as well, and I always loved singing, and I always wanted to have a band. So now I've got a band, and it's just, I've been so thankful to have that opportunity in the audience. And CBeebies is such a great channel. It's just I feel very privileged and very, very lucky to be a part of it. Yeah.
So where was the transition from, you said you always wanted to have a band, where was the transition from that moment where you went, okay, now's a good time for Andy and the Odd Socks to...
It was when I met Rob and Dan, who were music producers, and they did the title music for Andy and the Odd Socks. Andy's Dinosaur Adventures.
There's too many Andys.
I know.
It's everywhere.
Always get your name in the title, that's what I say.
Top tip.
So I met these guys, and they're just genius producers in my opinion, and they're really good mates now. And I always wanted to. I tell you why I always wanted to. I loved. Do you remember I don't know how old you are, but do you remember the Simpsons album?
I do, yeah.
Deep Deep Trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I knew all the words.
I remember Lisa's birthday.
Right, okay.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Yeah.
Classic.
And but there was loads of different genres, and I loved that, and I loved that album. I was obsessed with that album, and I always remember thinking, God, I'd love to. When I got a bit older, I'd love to write an album like that. So that always stuck in my mind, and I also wanted to make an album that would basically be good for parents as well. It's a sort of family entertainment and something that's funny. So we teamed up with Rob and Dan, and we wrote this album. They were really up for it, and it sort of had a Flight of the Conchords, Mighty Boosh sort of Monkeys feel about it. Yeah. And there was a sort of underlining message, I think, with all the songs, that it was all right to be different, and just accept it. Yeah. And that sort of just came out of just writing the songs. It wasn't anything purposeful. It was just, you got these wacky sort of characters and good stories, in my opinion. So from there we were like, right, we want to start a band. Yeah. Out of nowhere appeared, in my opinion, the best kids band ever to be created.
Without a doubt.
Yes, from Planet Rock.
Yeah.
Rio, who's our guitarist, landed with his friends, Blue, Moxie, Cousin Mac, and these are all the bands.
Moxie's the drummer, right?
Moxie is a brilliant drummer.
I was watching some of the videos. Yeah. Love the song "Choose Respect."
Yes, right. Okay, yeah.
Love
that's
it.
Our latest one.
Obviously, it's a great message, but love the song as a composition as well.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of musical background. Not a massive guitarist.
Right. Okay.
I've led some bands and done some singing things, but not much. But I love the composition of the song.
Did you still do it? You still play?
Do you know, if I didn't have kids, there is so many things I still do.
Right, it's busy, isn't it?
But every time, I used to have the guitar out on display, and as soon as Ted could move off the spot,
right.
I had to put it away because he would be clawing at it, pulling at the strings, throwing things at it. So I was like, right, that's got to go away in this case. And it hasn't got back out since. A couple of times I'll have a little play, but it's not.
You should produce a song based on the noises that is it Ted?
Ted.
That Ted makes as he's doing it. It'll go viral.
Yeah, no, maybe I'll reinvent it a little bit. But it's but I love the song, and then there's a clip where you see Moxie's drum kit, and it's clear, see-through drums, right?
Yes.
Amazing.
It lights up as well.
I just saw that and I thought, never mind the song, the drums are amazing. But yeah, no, it's very good. And what I love is, like you say, maybe it wasn't intentional, but I love those messages that have just kind of organically come out of.
Well, that was intentional.
Yeah.
Because which was sort of bring us into why we sort of wrote that song. We also have another song called Unique. And last year we teamed up with a fantastic charity called Anti-Bullying Alliance.
Yeah.
And they do some brilliant stuff, and they're only a small charity, and it was just right, the sort of messages that our songs had and the sort of thing that they wanted to do and the audience they wanted to bring in.
Yeah.
Because they're usually sort of like 8 and up, and my audience is sort of 8 and down.
Yeah.
Really. So they wanted to sort of get to schools.
Yeah.
Get the message to schools for that age. So we teamed up with them, and we sort of gave our song Unique to the charity that could be sent to schools, and it was very, very popular. And then we created Odd Socks Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is coming up.
Is coming up.
This might go out after Odd Socks Day, but
okay.
But tell us about Odd Socks Day anyway, because it's annual, right?
Yeah. Well, we're hoping for it to carry on anyway. So Odd Socks Day is a day where kids will come into the schools, so we get schools to encourage the kids to come in and wear their odd socks for the day, and then just have a fun time sort of talking about their individuality and encouraging kindness and nothing too heavy at that age,
It's great for schools to have, as an ex-teacher, it's great for schools to have some sort of resources and external that isn't the teachers or the head teacher driving through the message about anti-bullying.
Absolutely.
It's nice for it to come from someone like yourself or a band, or that's a nice element.
And I think that the other element to it is that it's, when you're driving something like, oh, don't do this or that's doing that and everything, this has a massive music element to it.
Yeah.
So kids can sort of hopefully be inspired when they look at the instruments and they're playing and stuff like that. They can be inspired about that, and that gives a sort of focus.
Yeah.
So if you are someone who has sort of behavioural difficulties, and at that age, it's very difficult. They're understanding their emotions. They're becoming aware.
Yeah.
They don't know that sometimes the things that they say or do, has a big effect on the children or people, and who knows what goes on at home. So it's nice to have that focus, and they kind of go, it might inspire them to kind of go, I wouldn't mind playing that instrument that Rio plays, or playing the drums like Mox. I mean, we have a lot of
clear drum set.
I wouldn't mind a clear drum set. That's brilliant. But and then this year, so last year their message was all different, all equal, and this year the message is choose respect.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to write a song about choose respect.
Yeah.
Because it's a difficult subject, actually.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's just to sort of have that awareness and the kindness to our fellow human beings, just to make sure that they understand that sometimes certain things that are said or done, can get upset with.
Yeah, well, for sure, it's a great message, and the whole Odd Socks Day, I think, is great. I think schools should buy into that, and hopefully that will grow over the next few years.
So. But last year we raised over 25,000, and a lot of awareness, and that was in a month of planning it.
Yeah.
So this year I'm hoping that we get lots more schools involved. It feels like there is.
Where does the Odd Socks name come from? Was it Odd Socks before Odd Socks Day?
Yes,
or was Odd Socks?
Andy and the Odd Socks was always the band.
Yeah.
And it came from two things. One, there's a song called Odd Socks, which is about two socks that get separated, and then they're like, oh no, what's going to happen? I'm going to be put in the wash, I'm going to be mangled up, and then they're like, actually, this is all right. Yeah. And the second one is that, well, there's three actually. I always wear odd socks. I just have always worn odd socks.
Intentionally, or is it like
well,
you fumble around in the dark in the morning, you just grab the two nearest
probably
socks
more that, to be honest.
Oh, they'll do.
Probably more out of laziness than it is out of... I just... That and also the sort of underlining message that we have within the songs.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of odd sort of characters that feel very isolated from the world, but actually it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sort of message.
So what's the plan? What's coming up for Andy and the Odd Socks the next 12 months, say? If you can share, or is it top secret?
Yeah, no. It's, you know, we're going to be doing more gigs, more festivals. We're actually at Christmas time. We're in Manchester at Event City at Winter Funland for 3 weeks performing.
Yeah.
4 shows a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Get your lemon and honey ready.
Well, and steamer and possibly a spare Andy. That's what we need.
Like a stunt double.
I got a wig at home.
I think it's the height. I think that's the... Really? Oh,
maybe.
We could try it. I might have to try anything.
We could put you on some of the shoulders and you just put like
a
stilts.
trench coat.
A trench coat.
I've always wanted to try that out.
Yeah.
On Sean's shoulders, trench coat, whether that really works.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No. So yeah, we're doing that for 3 weeks, and then next year, we really want to get it onto TV.
Yeah.
And we want a sort of Monkeys-esque program with loads of songs in a sort of based in a weird world.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Nice. Okay, so I know we're tight for time a little bit. So you've had a baby.
Yes.
In the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So you're really in the thick.
Tired.
It's your first, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So how are you finding it?
Well, I've got to say, I absolutely love it. I knew I would. I was very ready to have a baby.
Yeah.
And I think massively it's as a result of how amazing my other half is. She's just brilliant. She's very maternal. She really cares. She's very communicative. Do you know what I mean? You hear couples that sort of really argue about things, and naturally I can see how it happens. I can see how relationships can break down in these scenarios, because you're tired and you're like, your little one's crying, like, why are they crying? I've just done this, it's your turn, you go into, you know. I'm
it's
sure
also
absolutely.
I mean, it's also the one job in life where you are very reluctant to take any criticism and advice.
Yes.
Because you just feel...
Well, that's what I've got to say, you know, that's where Kat, my fiancée, comes in, because she's very, very calming influence.
Yeah.
There are times where I go, no, like this, and I sort of stop myself, because I think, no, she's dealing with this much better than I am.
Yeah.
But also we're very lucky. Ruby, she's not a big crier. She does make noise. Yeah. Like sounds like and you know, I often think it's like Dumb and Dumber. You know, do you want to hear the most annoying sound?
Oh yeah.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that when you're 3 in the morning.
Hey, at least she's not holding like a tube of newspaper in the ear. That would be worse.
That is worse, actually. Yeah. But I love it. I love being a dad.
Yeah.
I really do. I really enjoy it. I love waking up and seeing her little face. I hate being away from her. And it's just something that, you know. And also, what's really interesting is that having a child, being a parent, I feel like I've entered into this world where I go, I get it. I get it. Because obviously, for many years, parents come up and they love their kids. They'll do anything for their kids, and they'll show photos for them, and they'll just do anything. And in the past, obviously, I've gone, oh, no, that's lovely. Oh, that's great. But you're sort of just like pleasing, really, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But now I'm much more like, oh, let's have a look. Ah, and that's like anything.
Yeah.
When you do something, it's a very different perspective on things.
Well, you can empathise with it all that.
Well, that's it.
Because
exactly.
you can put yourself in that position. Probably are in that position quite a lot.
Yeah.
And someone else going, yeah, great, Andy.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Exactly. I actually say I become one of those parents like this, but because I know what it's sort of like. But you know, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. What's the best thing so far? I mean, 6 months in. What's the best thing?
Just looking at her smile, and her recognising me, because it's hard for a dad. I think I didn't bond with her in the way that Kat did, obviously. I mean, I loved her like from day dot, you know, from when she was inside Kat, you know, but I didn't get the, you know, when she used to be, oh look, she's kicking. I go, yeah, it's great. Like, she'd wake you up, it's kicking, it's great, but you just don't have that feeling. But watching her, like if I'm away for a few days, often I'm away, but she usually comes with. But just recently, I've been away for like a week, and I come back, I really missed her after like a day, really missed her. Came back, and the first thing I go, hey darling, like, we call her the Dink because she's silent. Hey Dinky, Dyson, and she goes, oh. It's just brilliant, man. It's just nothing like it, and that's the greatest thing for me.
And I know those first few months, they are difficult as well, because a baby's fairly unresponsive. I guess now she's starting to be
absolutely
more, so you can get those, you know, those reactions. You can make her laugh and those kinds of things.
I don't know about you. I think most dads are probably like this. They just do anything to try and make her laugh. I get jealous that Kat makes her laugh more than I do.
Do you have competitions?
Yeah, I sort of do. I don't tell Kat that I do. But I sort of go, oh no, it's good. Oh look, she's laughing. And then I wait for her to go out and do exactly the same thing, but she won't laugh at me.
And then you're forever trying to come up with something that makes her laugh more.
Yes,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard life.
So what's the hardest thing? Like, I mean, I feel like
it's the sleep.
The sleep deprivation.
I mean, I'm quite an early bird anyway.
Yeah.
And actually, I say it's a sleep. I thought it was going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I think I've suddenly realised that actually, when you used to not get any sleep, you used to suffer the fact that you didn't get any sleep. So, I should have got 8 hours, or I should have got 7 hours, or I'm feeling it. Now you're getting like 3, 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Just accept it. That's where it's got
to be. Perspective has changed.
Yeah, obviously your brain slows down a little bit. So, but yeah, I guess that's the and also the hardest thing I think is that you feel like you want to help more, but actually these sort of like primitive months. Yeah. In my experience, it's been just helping my partner. Help her.
Yeah, of course. It's difficult. So Ted's four now.
Right.
And I've always found the sleep. Like, if someone said, "What's the hardest thing?" I've always been like, "Yes, the sleep." But now he's at an age where his personality is starting to come out, and I'm now seeing things that he's doing that I've had an influence on, which is great.
Right.
But then you think, oh my goodness, like, am I ruining this child by being who I am? And that is terrifying.
Yeah, right.
So right now that I'm going through that whole responsibility. He's just started school and he's a little bit standoffish. He's not the kind of kid that's just going to jump in and get stuck in with all his mates. He's kind of more reserved. And I feel like, is he missing out? And then I think, why is he like that? Is it something I've done that's made him like that, and now he's going to miss out? And it's this whole chain of events, and I'm thinking, it must be me.
Yeah.
So
do you think that there's a sort of social networking has sort of been a massive part of parents sort of going, I should do this, I should do that. I've seen that online. I should be that. Do you want to be the perfect parent? But there is absolutely no such thing as a perfect parent, but you still have this idea of, I've inspired, is that being bad? And everyone, that's what I know, that everyone has got an opinion about parenting. I really did before, and I probably still do, but I definitely don't voice it anymore, because I just think everyone's got their own stride, everyone's got their own way, everyone's doing their best, or at least the people that I know and seen and are doing their best, and I just think, leave to your own devices, because you don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the premise of the whole Dad's Net, really.
Right.
Is that we would never ever want to be this voice of, or this font of all knowledge, and say, this is the way you need to do it. That's not about what we do in the slightest, and the opposite. We want to just connect people to say, how did you get your baby to sleep?
Yeah.
And then them say, I didn't, and you go, oh good, it's not just me.
Exactly.
You've got to just have comfort in that.
Exactly. And there's definitely comfort in sharing stories like that. But what was quite funny actually the other night, she had a particularly sort of noisy night. Again, she doesn't cry, she's just noisy. I think it's because she's teething, baby's stomach or something. I don't want to go for a poo.
I get that sometimes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But that doesn't make much noise.
And so I woke up for about the 19th time. I said, "Oh, bless her. She's in pain, isn't she? Bless her." And Kat, who's like so lovely with her and so on it all the time, actually said, "Do you really think that?" And I went, "No, I don't. I really don't at this moment."
Right now.
Yeah, you just, and it's true. You just, there are times you just want to go, "What? Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only because you care. At the end of the day, it's just, you want them to
right.
not suffer, and you want to get sleep.
That's absolutely. So you can function the next day.
Exactly.
But like you said earlier, you still function even if you don't.
That's very true.
Because you have to.
Yeah, because you don't suffer it. You don't think like, "Oh, I shouldn't be like this." Because every parent is like,
yeah, that's right. Wow. Okay. Well, I know we probably better wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. I feel like I could talk all day.
Me too.
But thanks so much. It's been great to have a little insight into you and where you come from and being a dad and the Odd Socks and I need to come to a gig.
You have to come to a gig. Just let us know, and we'll bring you into the gig.
A little dad's net outing to one of the gigs.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
No, absolutely.
I'll let you know.
Please do.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much, mate.
Thanks.